Welcome to Zen Fits here in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world. But then you too are at the center of the world. And the topic of this talk is the tub rings of philosophy. Now this is an interesting metaphor, and it comes to me because when I was at the Old Dominion University in the late 1960s, early 60s, I took English as a major and philosophy as a minor. And ODU was a small university then, and there was only one philosophy professor. And the room was, as I recall, was a fabricated room. It wasn't in a big building. It was, like a trailer. And I've forgotten the professor's name, philosophy professor's name. He was an existentialist. And he would talk, and as he talked, he would put his foot up against the wall, and he would talk from around the room as he roamed around and talked. And there was a rubber ring, there was a tub ring around the room. I remember that, but that's about the most vivid. But it's a funny thing about how an image like that, the ring from his heel, circling the whole room, over the years, he would talk from different places, you see. This tub ring. And I remember philosophy I love that. I love philosophy and English literature. But just a side note, the only English teacher I remember was the Shakespearean teacher, and he said, he said, all you need in life is a book of Shakespeare and a bottle of scotch. Well, I only kept half his advice. But anyway, the philosophy of rings, because when you take a study of philosophy, first you study the anthology of the dialectic of philosophy from the Greeks all the way up through Western rational to the modern age. So you got a long list of philosophies, and each one is a bathtub ring. You start off with a little bit of water, the Greek philosophy, and it leaves a ring. And then the next philosopher that comes along says, well, I have the theory that explains everything. And so the water fills up, and you say, oh, it's so clear here, there's no ring. But then in a little bit, it forms a ring. As you bathe in it, you see, the knowledge accumulates, and it forms a ring. And then you say, oh, there's a ring here. So then a new philosopher comes, well, I have the theory that explains everything. And the water level rises up a little bit. Oh, there's no ring. But again, as you bathe in it, you see it accumulates more knowledge, and another ring forms. And so you go through the study of the creation and the removal. But the rings never get erased, you see. They just keep adding up, you see. So after about 10 years, I guess, I studied after I left, graduated. I kept buying philosophy books and studying philosophy, and I had a whole big library of them. I think I gave that whole library away. And then I discovered Eastern philosophy, Eastern yoga, Eastern mysticism, Christian mysticism, Eastern mysticism, you see. But again, yoga, Indian philosophy, yoga's a philosophy, and so the bathroom ring still kept accumulating. And I went through yogas, a guru yoga, hatha yoga, Raja yoga, bhakti yoga, all of these yogas, all these bathroom rings. And then I discovered Buddhism. Finally the end of rings. And no, it was another ring. So my whole life has been basically a series of bathtub rings, metaphorically speaking. Don't come up and tell me what kind of cleaner I should use to use a bathroom ring. Well, the cleanser I found was Zen. And even Zen erases its own ring. That's the beauty of Zen, is that it erases itself, like the Cheshire cat in Alice in Wonderland. You erase yourself as the last ring. And what's left with? Well, you're left with a shower. So Who takes a bath anymore? Everybody takes a shower, right? So anyway, I thought this was an interesting, a fun metaphor to work with, because basically where the whole practice is raising the level of water in the tub. You see, the level of conscious clarity. This water is dirty, so we find a new system, a new philosophy, a new teacher, a new guru pours in fresh water. Oh, the water is so clean, it's so clean, you see. But then it starts getting cloudy again, and a ring forms, you see. Isn't that an interesting metaphor? You need good working metaphors to understand your life. A metaphor like that, kind of like, for me, puts my whole life in one little tub. Instead of having a series of tubs, it puts it all in one tub. If you have a whole road full of puddles, you see, after a rain, and there's a full moon, and every puddle reflects the full moon. Every puddle reflects the full moon. So every puddle in your life, every tub of water, reflects your whole life, you see. But as puddles evaporate, or we discover I'm trapped in this tub's too little, we want a bigger tub, we want a bigger puddle. But again, so we find a bigger puddle, and yet it's the same moon reflected in that puddle. And when the puddle evaporates, the moon is not evaporated. The moon just appears in another puddle, you see. The moon is not like the mirror. The mirror is not touched by the reflection. So anyway, I'm wandering in metaphors now, but the whole idea of this accumulating rings and getting rid of the ring, not by wiping out the ring, but by adding more water, you see. You eventually arrive where you want to get rid of the tub. It's the tub that's the problem. It's your mind that is accumulating all this knowledge that is the problem, you see, not the rings. So anyway, I've digressed enough. Thanks for dropping in, and clean your tub or get a shower. Thanks for dropping in.